What's up, guys? This is Jay. So, impeachment is everywhere right now. Everyone's panicking, and it is freaking great TV. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching Rudy Giuliani on Blaze TV, Donald Trump on Fox and Friends. It's been great. And it's been really cool because you get to actually hear them lie in person, just right there. I know they do it a lot, but at this point, aren't they trying to cover their ass right now? Isn't it time to, I don't know, I would think like you go full turtle mode because the wagons are circling, so to speak. Time to panic a little bit. But anyway, during Donald Trump's 53-minute appearance on Fox and Friends, he uh he wanted to talk about the private server that CrowdStrike, the Ukrainian company, had, and how he needs access to it because it shows that the Ukraine meddled in our election. And that's when Steve Doocy from Fox and Friends said, "Are you sure about that, Mr. President?" Now, why would Steve Doocy ask him that? Why? Because it's a lie. That's why. It's not even in question. Here's the thing: you can Google it. Where is CrowdStrike from? Where is their owner located? And you'll find out that the founder, the owner, is from Sunnyvale, California. They're not a Ukrainian group. Yeah. Not to mention people like Hill and uh, Maria Yovanovitch saying this is completely false. But whatever. I understand. They are quote unquote never Trumpers. But speaking of Yovanovitch, Trump went on to also say that she is not a baby. She is, and yes, that was his quote, she is no baby. She is no angel. Because she wouldn't put his picture up in the embassy. And he said, and I have all reason to fight, to have my own ambassador and to get rid of her. I'm not shocked that he would use that as an excuse to get rid of her. But the gall on him. And look, we're gonna find out in a week or two that yeah, that picture it was up. She had nothing to do with it. What is she, maintenance? No. You think she actually runs it like it's her house? Yeah, it's rather ridiculous. Now Giuliani though, he was on Blaze TV, and he was asked about two of his clients, Lev Parnas and Igor Shansky. And the Glenn Beck asked him, said, Mr. Giuliani, so when you hooked up with Lev Parnas and Igor Slansky, that was so they could help you connect with people like Shokin, and Giuliani stops him in the middle and says, no, I was able to find Shokin on my own. I found it through a credible lawyer who had some information. Now, while he's explaining this process, and you can listen to it, I think it's about a 3 or 4 minute little bit he goes on where he's talking about this process of finding these people and who did this and who did that and how important these guys were, these clients. He then says, right after, and hear me out, when he said, no, Lev Parnas did not help me contact Shokin, he then says, yeah, and Lev Parnas, he helped me find people like Shokin. Yeah. He literally just contradicted himself in the same paragraph. It was good times. There's a lot on that Rudy Giuliani Blaze TV Glenn Beck interview. I definitely recommend you watch it. But the best thing and the most entertaining thing about this whole thing is what came out yesterday. That Lev Parnas is willing to testify to something. It seems like, like the old horror movie, the phone call's coming from inside the house. We might have that situation here. And when I use the word house, I do mean that completely ironic. Because Lev Parnas wants to testify that Devin Nunes was actually directly involved in this whole Ukraine mess. Yeah, a guy who's been sitting in these hearings has been asking questions. He was involved in this. Let me read a little bit. Lev Parnas, a business associate of Rudy Giuliani, wants to testify to Congress that aides to Representative Devin Nunes called off a trip to Ukraine this year when they realized they would be required to notify Democratic Committee Chairman Adam Schiff. The purpose of the trip was to interview two Ukrainian prosecutors who claimed to have evidence that could help President Donald Trump's re-election campaign, according to Parnas' lawyer. Parnas also alleges that Nunes, a leading Trump ally himself, traveled to Vienna last year to interview a potential source of political dirt on Joe Biden. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can't write this stuff. The house is just as dirty. It's all dirty. The corruption just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is so funny until it's not. Until this isn't a joke anymore. And until our government is completely either tyrannical or such a joking matter that we don't take serious anymore. The next election is really important because we got to figure out who we are. Are we going to be people who live under a tyrannical government who are so embedded in corruption that every part of it is buried in some sort of investigation? Because look, the House can't check the House forever. I'm sure there's a lot already in the Senate. When all three branches are corrupted, the tree dies. We're kind of lucky that there is people looking in on it, but it's not going to last. And it'll turn to complete totalitarianism. 2020 could not be more important. But let's be careful who we vote for. Red or blue. This kind of corruption has always been there. We just know about it now. Just make sure we're putting the right person in our presidency. Could have this happen all over again. But the next time, it's going to be worse. Because every single time, it gets worse. Right now, it's a joke. But it's not really that funny, is it? Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I will see you tomorrow.